And welcome to Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Patrick Dewar. I have a fabulous show today. You're going to love it. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met somebody that just kind of has it going on? Whatever the it is, things just happen. They show up in their life. My guest today, you're going to love her. Tonja Waring has a gift of being able to bring into her life the things that she really wants. She's kind of figured out that secret ingredient, and she wants to share so much of it with you. She started an international manifesting prosperity clubs. She's created whole coaching programs and speaking programs. And what's amazing is, it wasn't long ago that she was what I call broke and busted. Kind of a different way to begin, isn't it? But I think most of us can relate to that. We've all been there. So my guest, you're going to love her story. Tonja, thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, Patrick, thanks so much for having me. That was quite an intro.
Thanks.
You know, it's true. I was on the couch about 2 years ago, and someone had mentioned that you never come through life unscathed. And even though I had had success in my life as a successful real estate broker in 2 different states, when the market crashed, I was one of those people who found myself going through foreclosure. What I didn't expect was to be going through my second divorce. And I had put out a ton of resumes, and I had only received 1 response. And when I got my 3rd interview and found out I didn't get the job, man, that just hit me hard, because I have 3 beautiful children to support. And I really didn't know what I was going to do. I remember spending a week putting together everything that I needed for welfare. And I tell people I didn't deserve welfare, meaning that I really felt I was better than that, but I didn't know what to do. And then imagine how I felt when I found out that I was even declined for welfare. So here I am, totally depressed, unsure what I'm going to do next. My heart was heavy. My mind started to, I just was so stressed that I thought I had beginning Alzheimer's. So that really added to what am I going to do to support my kids. It was one of these days when the kids came home and they were kind of looking at me while I'm laying on the couch like, Mom, are you going to make us dinner, you know? And I'm like, oh, honey, just like grab some money and go to McDonald's. And it was about that time that I remember just being as authentically myself as I'd ever been. And I just kind of called out this prayer that said, you know what, God, I am smart, I'm beautiful, I'm talented, I'm kind, I'm honest. I've always been great at sales. Could you please just bring me something that is worthy of who I am as a person, with that integrity, a product, something. I've always loved helping people, so it was really important to me. And it was only a couple weeks later that the first product showed up. It's a product called Pro-Tandem, and it healed my brain. It kind of took care of the stress that my body was under. So I started to be able to think more clearly. And then it was just a few days after that that a friend of mine said that I should go work for a company called My Pillow. Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize at the time that My Pillow was only 9 minutes from my house. And the rest is what they say is history. You know, a lot of times when we ask for something and we receive it, we go, hey, that's not the right thing. Because, you know, I was going, a pillow? Really? A pillow?
Really?
That's what you brought me. But with that pillow, I traveled the United States. I started to provide for my family. I ended up writing an ad that appears in all the major newspapers. It's one of the most profitable ads ever written. It's in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the USA Today. And then I also was selected to be on their infomercial, their national infomercial. So I appear on television about 150 to 180 times a day.
That's got to be like one of the most viewed infomercials in the country.
It is. A lot of people don't recognize me, which I love, but they always recognize my voice. But it's just been amazing. And one of the things that I recognize that was really a key to my success was taking on my own personal law of attraction coach during that time. And so one of the things that I did was I enrolled in a very intense, if there is such a thing, but in a law of attraction coaching certification program. I never really felt like I wanted to be a coach, but what I really wanted to do was immerse myself so I could understand the ups and downs in my own life, so I could start getting on a more even keel. And that's one of the things that I accomplished, was being able to create prosperity in my own life in such a way that I was able to move to a warmer climate, which is what I wanted. I found a better school system for my kids, so my kids are thriving. And even for myself, I just wanted to be in a more vibrant, alive community. And that's one of the things that really, that was my desire that Manifesting Prosperity had allowed for me to do.
No kidding. Well, I know that it's also been able to bring you multiple streams of income. You've been able to help a number of business owners and really speak a level of truth to a number of, I'll say, associations and stuff.
Sure.
That can, when they hear that message, they begin to get realigned is one way to describe it. Because I've seen your impact on others, and it's almost like a tuning fork. I mean, you walk into a room and you begin to touch somebody and speak to them in a way that basically clears the fog.
Yes.
And then helps them change their state to one that's more in line with being able to receive. And what's so good, something that you say, and it's something I believe, which is you know, all things are possible through God.
Yes.
Everything is possible that we want to do or have or be in our life, and that's the thing that is so important with what we're going to talk about today. Is as we go through the next few segments of this show, I want to talk about what you're doing to create the success you're having, what you're really who you're trying to reach, and then how people can connect with you. Because I know we've got a special day coming in September that you've created.
Yes.
And I'm excited about that. And I will tell you that we'll have more right after this break. And welcome back to Business Spotlight. Patrick Dewar, my guest today, Tonja Waring, ManifestingProsperityClubs.com. She has a really amazing story for you. One of the things that she has a real gift to do is teach you how you can become more prosperous. I mean, how many of us, we attract all kinds of noise in our life? And here's an opportunity to meet somebody that can really give you some keys, some tools, some tips, and some wisdom that I know you've purchased at a great price. Yep. Thanks so much, Tonja.
Thank you, Patrick.
So I want to get into some of the things that you're doing. I mean, I know that you do speaking. You created the Manifesting Prosperity Clubs International. You created it at a local level. You do mastermind groups. You do group coaching, individual. I mean, you do everything, okay? So with that in mind, what are some of the things that you see coming up that are really in line with your vision?
Well, one of the things that happened shortly after I had this major breakthrough in my own prosperity is I started to have this vision for wouldn't it be awesome and spectacular if there was a community for people like myself who really wanted to immerse themselves in the laws of manifesting. A lot of times it goes way beyond anything that we've learned, or it's difficult to implement it if you've looked at it in a book or you've heard it on a radio show. Even though we offer all of that, it was really about creating a community. Mm-hmm. When I started to have my own personal law of attraction coach, one of the first things I noticed is he cut short my story to continually talk about those things that were really not what I wanted to create. So he would always bring me back and give me tips and tools and techniques for starting to design and develop the life that I always imagined for myself. So my role in all of this is really to create a platform for people to begin creating the life that they've always imagined for themselves and to let them know that that is possible. You mentioned with God, all things are possible, but I truly believe that God wants us to be joyful in our lives, and joy is really the key to success. So in Manifesting Prosperity Clubs, it's an online group. We host meetups. We have an international meetup group We're actually doing Manifesting Prosperity International Day on September 9th, 2012. I'm very excited about that. It's where we can all come together and start to create and share our successes, because that's really important too. When we start to have success, we want to be able to share that with others and show that gratitude, because that's what keeps the momentum of continuing to receive that success in our lives. So that's really important. For people who want to take their law of attraction or their manifesting prosperity to a new level, that's where the mastermind groups come in. This is a once-a-month meeting of like minds. I try and put people who want to achieve similar goals. Typically it's business people, entrepreneurs, but anybody can join. And what we do is we get together and we assist each other in taking business to the next level. All of our programs are really designed for people who are successful already, but maybe they want to create more love, more joy, more money in their life, and they just need a little tweaking or fine-tuning to do that.
Well, I would imagine that that is a lot of people don't even realize that those are all consistent in your process. Some people think money comes at a cost of joy and other things. And though there have been people, business people, whatever, that have walked in a state of working themselves to death.
Yep.
You really show people that their emotions are more important than they could ever imagine, don't you?
Absolutely. I grew up on a cattle ranch, so that was an environment where work was very important. I started driving tractors when I was 7. I worked 3 jobs to put myself through college. My whole way of winning was to work 70, 80 hours a week. And with 3 kids that I wanted to be there for emotionally, spiritually, I knew that I had to find a different way. And the way that I found, and it seems so counterintuitive to the way that I was raised, was really to be as joyful as possible. In my selling of my pillow, the first thing that I did is I started to look at my words and how I could influence people to sell pillows. And then I had an inspired thought, what if I just became uber joyful in the booth of all this sea of people that were selling products? What if I just became a light, that joyful person that just attracted people? And what I saw is my sales just skyrocketed. So one of the most beneficial things we can do is really manifest our joy, whatever that takes. And you talk about being a tuning fork when I walk into a room. That's what attracts people and opportunity to me. More than anything that I know, it's about who I'm being and being that light or that joy, or just really expecting life to hand me great things.
I agree. I think that one of the things that a lot of people can really walk away with is just what she just mentioned, is being authentically enthusiastic or filled with that light that really changes things. And that's the thing that can be so powerful in bringing what you want into your life. I'm a firm believer that in God's presence is fullness of joy. Well, that's just literally taking it to a level of, you know what, I'm going to be enthusiastic and bring a light and a life always to the people around me. We've got more to come on this show. You're going to learn more about who this message is really for and what it can do for you. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Business Spotlight. Patrick Dewar here with Tonja Waring. She is the Manifesting Prosperity Diva, is what I'd call her, but you can find her at manifestingprosperityclubs.com. And we're talking today about bringing those things into your life that you really want. It's like I heard somebody say the other day with, I think it was Oprah, and she was mentioning that there's, you can attract things into your life, and surprises are not always fun.
Right.
You want to attract the things that you want in your life. So we're going to talk a little bit more about who is this message really for?
Well, I think this message is for anybody who's actually experienced success in their life. There's a lot of ordinary people out there who really want their lives to just maintain a status quo. They don't really put themselves out there. They're pretty happy and content with how things are. I am someone who's committed to an extraordinary life.
Very good.
And so I'm really wanting to touch those people who want that extraordinary life. Maybe they don't feel like they can have that anymore. A lot of times we look to our past, we look to what we've accomplished or haven't accomplished. We look to our parents, our siblings, our friends. You know, what are they doing over there? And I liken it to, have you ever walked into a living room and you just sat down and started watching TV, and then about 15 minutes later you realize you've been watching something you have absolutely no interest in? Well, that's how most of us create our lives. And I'm committed to working with people who want to create the life that they've always imagined for themselves. It's a lot easier than you think. I use a process called future visioning that actually steps us out about 2 years into our future so that we can actually start to see what kind of life we want to create for ourselves. A lot of the time, what we do is we either look at tomorrow or we look too far out, like 10 years. And I call it the procrastination subconscious mind. If we're too far out, we go, oh, we can do that tomorrow, we can do that tomorrow. Or if we're too close, we go, oh, I can't do that, you know, it's too soon. So just finding the right spot to really create the vision that you want to start manifesting from. There's all kinds of processes to use. Like, I've decided that I'm going to move to a warmer climate. That's a powerful affirmation. Have you ever noticed that a lot of times when you use affirmations, they just don't seem to resonate, they don't feel good? Well, when we use something like, I've decided to, it takes all the pressure off, we're not having an internal struggle with our mind, and we can actually start to align the energy so we can start moving in that direction. I think any entrepreneur, business owner that really wants to move their business to the next level, maybe a businesswoman like myself who has the challenge of raising a family, going to work or working in their own business, that's a lot to manage. So I have some tools of the trade for that have made my life a lot easier. And I can honestly say I don't think my kids have suffered one bit from me working for myself, because I do it in such an efficient, loving way that they easily get included. And I have developed the ability to accomplish a lot more in less time. So for anybody who feels like they've been hitting their head against the wall, you know, working really, really hard, I like to just teach them some simple tricks that they can still implement their business about 95% of the way. It's just the little tweaks that give them more time, money, freedom, even more love in their life as their relationships start to flourish as well.
Well, I hope you've gotten some of the tips that we're talking about here are ask and it'll be given, be open to receive, write a big check, have fun with this, and I believe you're going to see more coming into your life. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Business Spotlight. Pat Dewar, Tonja Waring's my guest, and we're having a blast. ManifestingProsperityClubs.com. Manifesting prosperity is really about bringing in the things into your life that you really want, isn't it? I mean, isn't that a definition of prosperity? It's not just dollars in the bank, it's everything moving the way that you really want. Well, Tonja's been sharing a great deal about how to do exactly that. Tonja, thanks for being on the show.
Oh, I'm just so excited to be here.
One of the things that I really want to get into this time is how to connect to you. People have listened to your story, they go, I want more. I want to live that extraordinary life.
Yep.
How can they begin to connect to you?
Well, the absolutely easiest way to connect to me is to go to ManifestingProsperityClubs.com. There you'll find a whole host of resources from mentoring and coaching, if you want that personal one-on-one, if you want to join a mastermind group, if you simply want to become a member and take advantage of some of the free resources we have, like affirmation CDs, our mega magnetizing CD. Those are some of my favorites because those are products that really helped me, and I want to make those available to everybody. But at manifestingprosperityclubs.com, if you're a leader, if you're someone who really likes to take information and teach others, this is a perfect place to come and get support as a leader by creating your own manifesting club, Manifesting Prosperity Club. So we've got all the training provided so that you can start your own club. You can visit our international meetup site where you can create a Manifesting Prosperity Club in other countries. You can create local clubs on Manifesting Prosperity Clubs. It'll take you to a meetup site as well. So there's really something for everyone. ManifestingProsperityClubs.com is really the platform to teach people the art of manifesting in such a way that they can teach others. My goal and purpose in creating ManifestingProsperityClubs.com is that we will be 1 million members strong within just 3 years. And I see 30,000 clubs around the world. I see a conversation that really changes lives. And when we change the lives of business people, parents like myself, it really impacts our children. And that's something that's really important to me. I know I'm teaching my kids the laws of manifesting prosperity and teaching them how to really create what it is that they want to have in their lives. A lot of times as kids, when we grew up, there's a lot of you can't. We get conditioned to believe limited amounts of things about ourselves, and I want them to know that they are unlimited. They can achieve anything that their heart really desires for them to have, and that goes for everybody out there.
How do you, in these groups, I know that the biggest problem or a challenge, maybe a better way to say it, the biggest challenge that I see is that folks don't allow themselves. They just fight it.
Yes.
Whether it's they feel unworthy, even if they don't use that word, they just don't allow themselves. What would you say to somebody who wants what you've got?
Well, there is a structure to manifesting. There's different ways that people go about manifesting. Some are more spiritual, some are more practical. There's something for everyone. And our clubs, the meeting structure is the same every week, so that you are getting empowered and supported in manifesting. And you've got a community there that's really cheering you on and looking at those successes with you and sharing in your enthusiasm. And so that sounding board is what's really important. I know that we can watch videos, go to YouTube, we can go to all these places and find this information. This isn't new information, Pat. Right. But it's a place where you can really come and be part of a like-minded community that's kind of up to the same thing in life. Mm-hmm. There's 1 million ways to parent a child. There's 1 million ways to manifest. But from these, you can really pick that system or that CD or that book that really resonates with you so that it feels right and you feel good about doing it. It aligns with your values, your beliefs, and it's something that you can take in for yourself and really start to create the life that you want.
One of the things that I'm really thankful for is that you're not worried about everything coming through you. This isn't a Tonja worrying show, so to speak. This is really about you helping others help others.
Right.
You know?
You know, it's really interesting you say that because my biggest fear was that people would think it was about me. And I have plenty to do with my kids. So I really have the interest of creating a structure that that goes on without me. This is about people teaching people, learning, and having the tools available. We're always looking for great coaches, people who've had success in manifesting, who want to share their stories, who want to lead manifesting clubs. So the best thing to do is visit www.manifestingprosperityclubs.com and see how you want to plug yourself in.
It is going to make a huge difference in your life. I know that if you look at all 4 parts of the show today, you're going to see that Tonja shared about how important your emotions are and really charging them. Walking in an attitude of joy and love towards others in an authentic way. Really releasing yourself to create the life that you want. And I know that as you begin to do that, as you begin to embrace the tools here and visit that manifestingprosperityclubs.com, you'll learn the keys to bringing into your life everything you ever wanted. This is Pat Dewar. My guest today has been Tonja Waring. We'll be back next time.